Let's take a look at using data from entries fields. Let's do how to create a country, city, state dropdown. So let's start by going to create a form. We'll create 4 separate forms. We'll start by creating a form for the countries, and we'll just add one field for the country name. And I just made sure that was required so we don't get any accidental blank entries. I don't want to receive email notifications, so I removed the email address. And that's all we need to do for that one, and we'll create the form. Let's create another new form. And this one will be for states. It will need just a regular text field for a state name, and it will need a data from entries field. I'll put that one. We'll put it here. And this will be the country. So we want this to be a drop-down select, and we're going to import the data from the countries form that we already created, and the country names will show up in the drop-down. And we could, if we were allowing users to input their own data and input their own options, then we might want to limit it. But in this case, obviously, we don't want users to have to input their own country, and if they do, we could allow them to, but if they do, we don't want them to be the only ones to see their country. And let's clear out, we don't want email notifications. Let's create another one. Whoops. Let's create a new form. This one will be for cities. And we'll do the data field. So this, we'll select this state from this drop down. So we'll import the data from the state form, and we'll use the state name field from that form. And again, we want this to be a drop down. And let's require it too. And let's add just a regular text field for the city. That'll be the city name. Let's require that too. And again, remove the email address. We don't want it sending, and create the form. So in this example, inputting data is obviously going to be a big job. So let's just add in a few entries. Let's start by adding a couple countries. We'll add United States. And let's add another one for Canada. And we'll say Mexico. Okay, so we've got a few options. Let's switch to adding some states now. We'll say California, and California is in the US. And we'll add Washington, which is also in the US. And let's add Utah, also in the US. We have a few examples there. Let's add some cities. The cities, here we'll add San Diego in California. And we'll add let's add Salt Lake in Utah. Let's add, what else? Let's add LA. Okay, good enough. Okay, so here's where the magic happens. Let's create another form. This is the form that users will actually see. Let's just create, we'll just use the template for now, and we'll just add some fields to it. So this is where we bring all of those fields together. Let's add a few data from entries fields. So this one will be country, and we want that to be a drop down, and we will use data from the countries form, and we will show the country name, and let's require that. Let's add another data from entries field for state. We will be using the data from the state form, and we'll use the state name, and we want a drop down. And on this one, in order to make it to indicate that it's dependent on the country field, we need to show that it will be hidden unless the country field is equal to anything. Then it will, that's what indicates that this field, the values of this field will be dynamic. Let's add a city, and we want this to come from the cities form, and the city name. Let's create a drop down, and again we want this one to be hidden unless the state is equal to anything, so that will indicate that it's dependent on the state field. That's all we need to do for this. Let's create the form. Now we'll just go to the built-in preview that's not in the theme. So we'll just ignore the top part of this form for now. It doesn't look like I have the CAPTCHA set up on this site, even though it was shown in the form. So for country, let's select United States, since that's the only one we actually added states for. And then this state pops up, and then we can select a state, and this one we'll start with California, I guess. And then our California cities show up, and we can select those. Or let's say I change my mind, let's do Utah. Then this changes, and I can select my Utah cities. And we won't go all the way through this form, but that's just an overview of just one thing that you can do with the data from entries fields.